Hello and greetings, everyone. Welcome to episode 25 of Lines on a Page. My name is Thomas Price. And yeah, we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. We're still doing Shazam, so don't worry, don't freak out. We're still doing Shazam. A little bit differently today, simply because necessity doing this drawing of Shazam digitally, which I'll throw up. So you'll see exactly what it is doing. The only reason I'm doing it digitally is just because some of the work that I've been doing as of late has been done through Clip Studio. So it was just more of those like stuff's already set up. Let's just go ahead this way. So I'm not having to set up everything else. So that being said, I wanted to go ahead and quickly do some housekeeping. Haven Comics is located at 1871 Slaughter Road, Suite F in Madison, Alabama. And please remember to like and subscribe. Every like, subscribe, every following, clicking the bell notification so you'll understand whenever we're going to be going live or posting things. Definitely helps us out in terms of trying to beat the algorithm as much as possible. And if you happen to want to follow me and find where I happen to be watching this on YouTube, you can follow me through Linktree, tpriceartworks, all one word. And you can find Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Mastodon, and also on Patreon as well. So, all of that aside, it's been a good week. It really has. A little bit on the laid back the bit. Finally having the chance to try to catch up and do some of the NDA work that I'm trying to do. You can't see me. That's interesting because I can see myself. So not really. Huh. Can anyone else see me? Because this is actually kind of odd because I can see myself on the screen. So I'm really not sure how this is becoming a little bit of a strange issue. Let me check on my phone real quick and see if I'm able to see myself through here. Oh, that's odd. Yeah. It is like that's really odd. What's going on? This is not this, this is not. That's really weird. I'm not really sure what's going on because I can see myself on the screen. I'm not sure why it's not up the line through my phone right now. Hey, Zach. It's almost like I just saw you long ago. Huh, that's really strange. I'm not really sure what's going on. Hopefully we can just, I guess, work around this. Because I literally do not know how to fix this entire situation. I've gone through the settings. There's really nothing stating in terms of, the webcam not on because it is on. So it's showing it on my side. All right, go ahead and get right to it. We're- But let's go ahead and just muscle through it. I'm still here. Don't worry. But let us do this. This should work. Never looked better. You know what? You're not wrong. All right. Oops. Make sure I've got. All right, that works. So I haven't seen Fury of the Gods yet. From the comment, I know they have seen it. They have enjoyed it, which is great. Um, I know there's been, obvious naysayers and people starting crap, you know, buzzkill headlines of sorts, but we're not gonna, we're definitely not going to listen to any of that. And I want to just go ahead and say I enjoyed the first film. Zachary was a great choice, and that's really all that I have to say. So what I'm thinking about doing is showing Billy, while yelling out Shazam, but showing the transformation between Billy into uh, Shazam slash Captain Marvel. So it'd be kind of like a half and half thing. And we're also going to be messing around a little bit with negative space, simply because of the lightning bolt hitting. So, as always, doing a rough sketch just to get the layouts of the characters and how they're going to fit. And as always, like let me lift them up just a bit. Which, speaking of just random discourse stuff, recently saw this morning about the situation with Jonathan Majors. I haven't seen Quantumania yet, but again, the people that I've been around who have watched it have said that they have enjoyed it. But yeah, that's really all I'm going to say on the matter, and going to keep it that way for the remainder of who knows when. Make them a little bit taller. So when we're thinking about proportions of adults versus kids, some people in the art industry they talk about a unit of height measurement, which is heads, in which they're referring to this kind of head. Um, and basically, the idea of it is that if the average adult male is 6 feet tall, then he should be an average 8 heads stacking on top of each other. So, with that being said, a child should be roughly about, um, you know, anywhere between, well, it also depends on age as well. But, with Billy being, I'm guessing like somewhere between 10 to 12 years old, um, he could be anywhere between 5 heads to about 6 heads tall. And I like my Shazam wearing a hood. So now that we have the rough idea, and of course the lightning bolt is going to be going straight down the center and kind of encompassing both versions of Billy. I wanted to at least get the rest of the idea down. So there's going to be the obvious light source, which is the main lightning bolt that's going to be going straight down. But in some ways, you can also say that there's a secondary light source, being the lightning bolt in terms of Shazam's sigil icon on his chest. In which I'm gonna rough this out real quick. All right. And my favorite part of doing any sort of artwork is erasing. But speaking of new shows, I recently finished this morning actually watching Daisy Jones and the Six. I was actually talking about this a little bit earlier with Tots and with Aaron, but if you like Almost Famous or That Thing You Do, but it's in the aspect or lens of it being in the 1970s, and it's in some ways kind of spoofing off of actual events that happened within Fleetwood Mac. I highly recommend it. I just found out today that all the music that they end up recording for the album in the TV show is up on Spotify. And, sounds exactly as it is in the TV show. Um, Super Fleetwood Mackey. Pretty awesome. And I was listening to that a little bit before I started the show. So we're going to assume that with hood up, so it's going to be basically just kind of roughing in what would be the blacks, because we'll be dropping down the opacity of this sketch layer so it looks about as, you know, light as that, and then we'll be going over with I guess like a darker black paint, um, by just trying to quickly rough in uh, what's going to be the shadows and the muscle groupings to get an idea of where things are. All right, so we've got the kneecap, that area, and this is basically going to be the boots. And but yeah, Daisy Jones and Six. That's on Amazon Prime, and yeah, I personally enjoyed it. It might be your cup of tea, it might not be your cup of tea, but it is in essence a mockumentary of sorts. It does have a really nice plot twist at the very end when you find out who the person is that's doing the interviews with the band members, like 20 years into the future. Um, because, like I said, the entire show technically takes place in the 70s, but um, the interviews and stuff like that want to say it's taking place in the 1990s. Hey, Jay. So I feel like one of the biggest pros to just, you know, quickly doing digital sketches like this is the fact of um, I don't have to worry about stopping to refill an ink pen, or um, I don't have to worry about the fact of a certain pigment paint I don't have. It's right there at my fingertip. But the biggest con is the fact of like, ah, crap, I didn't download a certain brush pack or something like that. And so I've got to like hunt down a specific thing and making sure that it actually did download, and it's not going to cause the GPU to like burn up the motherboard or some weird nonsense like that. All right, so we have that down. I'm going to, whoops. That's I feel like that's the other con that I have with trying to do digital sketches. I'll accidentally put too much pressure on my palm uh, before I'm about to do the next thing, and then the screen jumps. Remember the first time that happened to me, and I was just freaking out because I had no idea what happened, if I could reverse whatever it was that I did. Because I didn't start actually doing any sort of digital art stuff, or just at least understanding how to do it, until about 2017. So most of everything that I've learned has been trial and error, and just trying to understand the similarities and correlation between uh, this and uh, you know actual uh, you know traditional art, I should say. Not saying that digital art cannot be actual art. It can be. Um, and it most definitely has proven itself as that. But in the sense of like just straight up traditional art. All right. So basically, the idea of this down. So what I'm thinking is, zooming out just a bit, going to have the lightning kind of go down like this. And maybe add in a little rounding in there, but we'll be doing kind of a weird thing later on. But what's going to end up happening is that because of all this happening right here, we're going to kind of have a thing with the light source kind of creating itself right here. And then, of course, this is all going to be black. So now we have that out of the way. We're going to drop down the opacity a bit so we can still at least see it. I like to drop it down to about 30%. It's just a good number. Put in the new layer, and then I'm going to switch over to not sure if I want to do a marker or if I want to do pen. I'm going to do pen. Do oils. Yeah, we'll just do pen. All right. Whoops. Eyesight is not that good. All right. So my first experience with reading anything regarding Shazam, or OG Captain Marvel, I should say. It's actually viewfinder that I had growing up as a kid. I can't remember if it was my brother's or if it was something that was actually bought for me. For those of you who just happen to be uh, young millennial Gen Z and don't know what a viewfinder is, it basically is a children's toy that looks like a pair of bananas, and basically kind of had this kind of like a 3D glasses thing, but you lever um, on either the left or right side, and every time you would click it, it would cycle through and 3D effects. But DC had several different viewfinder um, picture stuff. So, your obvious Batman, Superman, Justice League stuff. And there was one of Shazam. And there was, I can't remember, like a giant insect, or, something. Keep in mind, I'm like 4 years old. This is my first time ever, looking through one of these things. And it was pretty jarring. And it definitely kind of traumatized me for a little bit. And of course, this is around the same age that I'm that I'm watching Raiders of the Lost Ark and Ghostbusters and Legend. So some people, their first experience with Tim Curry was Pennywise. And yeah, Viewmaster. Last I checked. And yeah, so I mean, some kids were trying wise, but I actually, I never had that experience, but the whatever that monster bug thing that Captain Marvel had to fight off in the viewfinder, that caught me off guard. So whenever I would see it as a kid and I knew it was coming up, I would like quickly double click it, so I would skip past it. Um, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, it was interesting because it's probably too young to be watching specific movies and shows at the time, but I was hooked on it. Um, and, and saying that because of watching those movies and shows, it definitely um, got me into some stuff that I like doing today. All right, so as you can tell, basically dropping in shadows. I think the small thing that I feel like I have an edge over some people, not all, some, is uh, probably from the fact of having a grandfather who was a doctor, specifically an OBGYN, but a doctor nonetheless, and being around medical textbooks and choosing to take a class in anatomy and physiology in high school because it was offered to help further understand and get better at drawing uh, basically the human body. Uh, so understanding, things like, grouping some muscles and uh, different types of, little things here and there in terms of putting together a hand, uh, little stuff like that. It definitely helped growing up. Let's see. Alan says, when I was in fifth grade, my sister. Okay, okay. When I was in fifth grade, my sister, I guess, took you to go see the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay, so surprisingly enough, I never had that kind of situation of going to, you know, see horror movies at a young age. Because I think the closest thing that I would consider as a horror movie as a kid would have been like Ghostbusters. Uh, and there was definitely some horror elements in Legend. Definitely dark fantasy, which does have elements of horror depending on its interpretation. Hey, Bill. But yeah, I was definitely never one of those kids that got to watch those films growing up as a kid. But I actually did finally get around to watching every single movie in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. But looking back at the practical effects of the first like three or four films, oh, they were amazing. Which, if I remember correctly, New Line Cinema is literally the house that Freddy built. So one of the biggest things that I have tried to work on the most within the last couple of years is having a better vocabulary in drawing the folds of fabric against different types of musculature and body types. And I'm getting a little bit closer to where I want to be in all of it. Still feel like there's a couple of things I would like to improve on, especially when it gets to like period clothing. But at least something that's a bit more modern. I definitely have got that down. All right, I've got a question. Thoughts on drawing human faces? I thought I remember in anatomy class the human face isn't symmetrical. True. Uh, Technically, yes, you are correct. Human face isn't always 100% symmetrical, but when it gets into looking at say uh, just anyone drawing or painting or whatever, they like to make it look as symmetrical as possible. Um, but yeah, you're definitely not wrong. Um, what some people actually don't realize is that when you it and I really think that a lot of people actually spend time looking at it. But if you ever get a chance to go in front of a mirror and look at your ears are definitely not symmetrical or identical. Especially when you start dealing with like the insides of like the ear canal and all that sort of stuff, because I'm going to use AirPods as my perfect example. Uh, they build these things to be one size fits all, and they don't, because not everyone's ear canals are the size that would allow for those things to fit in their ears perfectly. Uh, and that's part of the reason why I wear giant over the ear headphones. And some of it is also sound quality. Uh, I don't like using the Beats because it's just way too much low end, and last thing I need is tinnitus. Um, but if you look at the insides, or just at least just how the ears are like put together, they're definitely different. Uh, for every person and each ear, and uh, so yeah, you're definitely correct about that. But it kind of boils down to, I guess, the whole like beauty is in the eye of the beholder kind of situation. Because when you start drawing everyone looking not symmetrical, it could definitely be a little bit nightmarish for uh, people who are trying to look at your work. um, I'm actually going to have to redo this part of the cape. Was not thinking about that. All right, so as you can see, and blacks, and we'll be going over some different parts of the anatomy just to add in a little bit extra detail and sprucing up some line work. But the main concept, the figure, is technically there. And when I start getting into meaning, and we're going to turn the page just a little bit. And while, yes, I could have just got out the line tool and dropped in another line, figured I would just do this instead. and recenter it. I think out of all of the elemental type effects, when it comes to drawing, I think my favorite kind is rain and lightning. Uh, just always had an easier way of drawing it. And if I ever have the excuse to do it, then I take uh, full minutes to doing that. And change this to white. right. So that is there, and this is where it's going to get interesting. So I'm going to be throwing in a layer behind this, in which, oh no, what happened? Well, don't worry. I'm going to be doing like this, and then what I'm going to do behind it is erase. And the reason I'm doing this is just kind of a slightly cheating way, trying to get that negative effect in. Of course, we'll be sprucing up some of these lines, so not all is lost. All right, now we get the spruce stuff up. And just to make sure that I'm not totally forgetting whatever it is I'm seeing. All right. I will say that this part can be very tedious, can even get a little boring sometimes, but um, when it works, it works. And it's definitely something that I like to take to my full advantage if I ever get the chance to. Mhm. Let's see here. How long familiar with all the features? Very good question. I'm still learning. Like said earlier, I did not get into trying to do any sort of digital art stuff until about 2017. Loads of learning curves for me to have to get into, um, just to understand how it all works and making it work for me. All right, let's see if I can try to. Almost. A little bit too far out. Maybe the third one's the charm. I don't know. Eh, Dang it. I'm going to try to do it this way. Hmm. Nope. Go back to the airbrush. That's really odd. What do you think? So I feel like there's nothing cooler than, aside from doing stuff like this with, electricity and all that, than to try to make it glow. So using basically what's known as a noise setting, or a noise brush with the airbrush stuff to kind of create a soft, not really like a neon uh, glow effect, but it's close enough. This really makes me want to reread Kingdom Come again. Yeah, Chuck is a great. Um, but I was just thinking about that showdown between Superman and Captain Marvel, and Alex Ross just Shazam, that um, smiling look of, you done goofed. All right. So we basically, and of course, I can just continue on futzing with this until I do, and then it's just hot garbo. um, just a little bit of luminescence to where the cape is. But anyways, this is basically done. And like I said, guys, this really wasn't going to be that long of a show. Oops. But it definitely is kind of interesting being able to do something as quickly as this, as far as just like negative space and just playing with uh, the concept of the starkness of the black and the white, and making it work with a character such as this. Um, well, thank you. But yeah, so here it is, good old Shazam. Let's see. So I'm not sure if my face actually did appear this time or not, because apparently at the beginning of the video, um, my face disappeared, so no one can see where I was. I'm actually kind of curious. No, wow, that's really weird. I'm not even sure as to why it's not showing my face. So, that is interesting. All right. Thank you, Jay. Thank you. So there it is. Oh, Shazamo. Shazamo Blamo. So before I end off the show, I'm going to do another round of housekeeping just to tie it off with a nice electrifying bow. Haven Comics is located 1871 Slaughter Road, Suite F in Madison, Alabama, which we also are still selling both single day and weekend passes for the Huntsville Comic and Pop Expo, which is on April the 21st through 23rd. We do not have VIP tickets. Those have been sold out. So, yeah, which we never sold them in the store in the first place. So, if you want to get a single day ticket or a VIP ticket, please come during the store hours and pick them off. We still have them, and we want you to come. On a separate different note, if you happen to like this show and any other show that we do at Haven Comics, please remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell notification if you're watching this on YouTube, so you can be notified whenever we happen to go live and drop in a new video for you guys. And if you happen to like anything that I happen to be doing and you're watching this on YouTube and want to know where I am on social media, you can find me through Linktree at tpriceartworks, and I am on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Mastodon, Hive, and also Patreon. And yeah, I will see you guys again next week on April the 2nd, not April the 1st. I don't want to do that to you guys, which April the 2nd will be Haven Comics 22 years of being a store, which is freaking awesome. But yeah, I will see you again next Sunday, and hope you guys have a good rest of your week.